Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dear Universe 365. Well, it was supposed to be a launch party, but there was a snowstorm and some internet connection issues. So, apologies for anybody that showed up live, but I thought that I would record this live, see who jumps on, see who is around. And if you're watching the replay, apologies if I didn't show up in time, but there was a snowstorm. I was driving through the ice today after going to Barnes and Noble, and I did happen to see the Dear Universe copies on the shelves in my local Barnes and Noble store here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And so it was actually quite amazing. My daughters are staying with me right now. They go back to Las Vegas next, on the 2nd. And so they're with me until then. And so we went to see friends this morning, and I got to hold a newborn baby, who this little girl, she's about 8 weeks old. So it was really special to see my friend who'd had her baby. And then I'm like, okay, we've got to go to Barnes and Noble and we've got to be quick before we get back in time for the launch party. But the internet had other ideas. So there was no service in the area. I was trying to get to a local cafe, it didn't work. And now hopefully this is working. So if you're watching this inside my school community, or if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you're watching it on Facebook, welcome. It is so great to be here with you today. I have a few very powerful things that I want to share with you because I feel like today is an incredible day to celebrate because it's a book birthday. So for anybody that has ever written a book, you know that having a book baby is like it's a beautiful moment coming and getting to that pub day publication date where most of the time people have worked years in advance to celebrate the release of a book out into the world. And so today I wanted to share a little bit about how I wrote the book, my writing process, some of the hurdles and roadblocks that happen along the way. And I also want to share and use it as like an oracle resource to show you how you can use the book as well, and we can call in some magical miracles for the year ahead. So if that sounds good, if you're watching the replay, type yes in the comments or hit the heart button and we can activate some magic together. So for those of you, and I don't have a copy here with me right now, do I? No, I don't. I've got a whole bunch out in my garage, but the original Dear Universe book, which came out in 2019, is called Dear Universe 200 Mini Meditations for Instant Manifestation. And that book has sold, I believe, close to 200,000 copies now, and it's been translated into at least 10 different languages, which is always so cool. But I did another book in 2022 called Be the Love, and that was more autobiographical. And so the intention was that I would always create a follow-up to the Dear Universe book because it's a bestseller and because the concept was it was quite transformative. And if you remember, if you've read it, it was divided into two sections. The first section was to look up love-based feelings and to connect with the universe. And then the second part of the book was fear-based feelings to connect with the universe and work through them as manifestations. And so it was probably like late 2023, I started to have the idea for a daily devotional type of book, which is where Dear Universe 365 came from. But instead of dividing it into sections, I wanted to create power words. So it becomes like an embodiment of the daily theme for the day energetically of what you're working through on a frequency level. And I believe this is one of the most valuable things that you can do for your manifestation practices. So this is the book. It's a little bit, I mean, it's 400 pages. It's a lot thicker than the original Dear Universe book. And personally, I believe that this book is better. Now, I know I don't say that lightly. I really don't, because I poured my heart and my soul into this at a time where it was a very difficult time. Excuse me, in early 2024, I don't know how much I want to go into this right now because I want today to be about celebration. But in early 2024, in around February, it became very apparent to me that the relationship that I was in was no longer viable. It was no longer sustainable in the way that I wanted it to be. And I poured my heart and my soul into trying to fix it. And it was really difficult. And ultimately, I had to choose myself. I had to choose to step away and to really think about what I wanted for my life going forward. And so I landed the book deal in around April 2024, which was the same time that the separation occurred. And so I was separated and living under the same roof as my ex for about 6 months during the creation of this book. And we were living in the Hamptons in New York. As many of you know, is like one of my most favorite places in the world. I've spent a lot of time there over the last, oh, it's 5 years now. And, on and on again, off again between Vegas and the Hamptons or Florida and the Hamptons. And I intend to go back at some stage because my best friend, she lives there, Catherine, and she's my rock. She's been amazing throughout this entire journey. So I'll definitely go back there. But during this time, I had a very strict writing schedule because, as you can imagine, writing 365 mini meditations, it's like a year's worth of content to be written in 6 months. So I had to stay on a very strict writing schedule. And I had like, and I'll probably show these at some point, um, my spreadsheets. I color coded them all, so I made sure that two power words weren't too close together or it was varied enough. And that was a lot to keep track of. And during this time, I would write, and my desk overlooked the back garden. It had the most beautiful trees. And um, as the seasons were changing, it was bright and vibrant and green. And it kind of went from like being sticks and bleak and, like a winter landscape to being the most incredible blossoming back garden. And so I would often find myself just staring out at the garden and thinking, how am I going to write the relationship and connection chapter if, I'm going through this struggle right now? And I pushed through because I remembered that I was writing the book that I knew people needed to read. And each and every day became a healing practice. Even though I was, as the saying goes, you should write from the scar and not the wound. I didn't have that luxury. It wasn't even a scab. At that point, it was like a full blown wound. And so I was writing from a future state of the future me that I knew I would be transforming, transmuting into. And it really became a healing path for me. So if you read the introduction, um, maybe I'll read a little bit of the introduction for you. Maybe it can kind of set the scene of how I wrote the book. So every day it was very difficult. I had my own bedroom up on the second level of the home that I was living in. And, every day became like this spiritual practice of how am I going to connect to the universe today? And if anything, it really helped to clarify the direction that I was heading in. And so on the morning that I was getting on a plane and moving to Green Bay, Wisconsin with my two girls, and their dad was going to follow a few days later, um, I rewrote the introduction. And I rewrote it from a channeled space, I believe, where it just kind of flowed through. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got my laptop out and I'm like, this is it. And I sent it to my editor and I'm like, this is the introduction that I want to share with the world. And so that's how that was created. And then fast forward, editing and all of, I mean, the team at HarperCollins were absolutely and are absolutely incredible. So it was a pleasure to work with my editor and my agent and the promotion and PR team, advertising team at HarperCollins. And fast forward the time where it came to record the audiobook, and I was booked to do 3 days in the studio and 400 pages. I mean, that's a lot of work. And I got to the studio, and the guy didn't even have an iPad. So I'm like, I don't know whether I can work here because this is the third audiobook that I've recorded in a studio. And it wasn't up to scratch of what I was used to. So I called up my producer at HarperCollins, the audio producer, and I'm like, my boyfriend could do a better job. And so she's like, could he? And she said, could you introduce us? And so I set up an email introduction between John and the HarperCollins audio production team. And John got to work and he created me the most incredible soundproof home studio from my closet, which you can probably see over my shoulder. It's gone now. Like he transferred everything over to his apartment, which is like a 2 minute walk away from here. Um, and so John and I got to work together on the audiobook, which I'm so proud of. I listened to like a little bit this morning when it became available, and it's good. Like it is really my best work. So if you get into it and you feel that energy, each and every day that you're building on it. Because the way that the book works is, I'll show you, and I've spoken about this before. This is the content. So I don't know whether you can see there. Oh, it's kind of getting a bit blurry in and out. But this is, it's got 12 months. It doesn't correlate. I didn't name them January, February, March, whatever, but you can start in like 2 days if you want to start at the beginning of the year. And the first month is gratitude and appreciation. And the second month, as I mentioned, is connection and relationships, which was so difficult to write, but I do believe that's one of my strongest chapters now. And then it just goes on. Month three, resilience and strength. So what I wanted to do with all of these is really create something for everyone, no matter what season you are in. So at the end of the 12 months, or at the end of the daily practice, however long you choose to do this for, it means that you have, like varied topics and themes that you've covered these empowering power words. So just, I'm flipping through right now some of the power words: resourcefulness, emergence, muse, innovation, artistry, bliss, composure, solace, harmony, tranquility, transformation, growth, comforting. So there's like every power word is a different day. So you can, wake up in the morning and go, you know what, today is calmness. Calmness. And maybe I'll read this one. It's calling to me right now. Life's storms may rage around you, but within you lies an ocean of calmness. I picture the Montauk Point Lighthouse standing strong amid crashing waves, its light unwavering. Located at the easternmost point of Long Island, Montauk is often referred to as the End because it marks the farthest point of New York on the coast. Surrounded by vast Atlantic Ocean, this lighthouse symbolizes resilience and calm in tumultuous waters. When you cultivate calmness, you become a beacon of stability and serenity. Practice deep breathing, mindfulness, and self compassion to anchor yourself in this calmness. This inner peace empowers you to face challenges with clarity, grace, ensuring that your life continues to shine bright regardless of external circumstances. And then there's the little Dear Universe invocation, which says, Dear Universe, help me cultivate calmness within, standing strong and serene amid life's storms. So be it. And so it is. So I did forget to mention at the beginning of this, and it's a beautifully illustrated book, by the way. It's dedicated for my mother, Louise. I don't know if you can see that. Ah, there it is. But this is for my mum. I wrote this for my mum because she is incredible. She is so strong and so brave, and she's navigated her own storms, which required resilience and strength and taking things day by day. And that's the season that I've been in over the last couple of years right now. And you guys know that I've been through this kind of thing before. I've been through, my first marriage, which ended in divorce, and now my second marriage, which ended in divorce, and now navigating this new relationship, which is completely different from anything I've ever experienced in my entire life. And it's about relearning how to have a connection with God, source energy, the universe, and ultimately myself. So I can have this as a legacy piece for my children, who I dedicate this book to as well. All four of them: Thomas, Olivia, Lulu, and Ava. And it was so cool going to Barnes and Noble before. And I'll share the photos over on Instagram. If you're following me over there, you can check it out. The We first went to the self-development section, I think it was, or self-transformation section in Barnes and Noble. And I saw the old Dear Universe book, and I'm like, oh, they don't have it yet. They haven't put it out. And we got like a coffee because I knew I was going to host the launch party. And again, apologies for those of you that showed up and I wasn't there yet. So this will be my official video to launch this incredible book. And then Lily's like, no, let's go and ask somebody. And I'm like, no, maybe we'll go and look. And I'm like, you try and find it. And she found it. And it's like there were 3 copies on the shelf, and I'll share the photos, like I said, and I picked them up and I put them in different places so that they're like eye height. You're not supposed to do that, by the way, but if you would be so kind as to do that in your local bookstore, that would be amazing. And you can tag me, take a photo, or if you have the book, tag me, take a photo, because the more the message of taking one day at a time gets out there, the more people will feel more empowered in their own lives because the energy and the essence of this book is about active embodiment of frequency. Because when you truly embody the energy of harmony, of peace, of tranquility, of presence, like the overarching theme is presence. Once you do that and you realize that we are part of something so magnificent, we're all part of this beautiful fabric of oneness, that's when life gets truly magnetic. You can start setting powerful intentions and they manifest in an easier way. So I'll read a little bit of the introduction, but not too much because I don't want to give it away. All right, so it says here, prayer and meditation are the art of communicating with the invisible realms, connecting you to the field of infinite potential that surrounds us all. As a manifestation teacher for over 15 years, I've seen the transformative power of these practices firsthand. When paired with gratitude for whatever you are experiencing, whether it's joy, pain, grief, or transition, you can rise above even the toughest of seasons in your life. This simple yet profound practice is at the heart of Dear Universe 365, a guide designed to help you connect to the universe's power, align with your true self, and manifest your best life one day at a time. This book was created during one of the most difficult and transformative chapters of my life. I found myself living under the same roof as my husband of 10 years, facing the emotional turmoil of separation, yet still showing up each day for my children, my work, and myself. You'd think that spending the summer of 2024 in the Hamptons would be a luxurious dream, but for me, it became a crucible, a space where I was forced to confront my deepest fears, heartaches, and desires. I'm going to leave it there. But a little bit that I want to say here is that you can use this book one of two ways, as I mentioned. You can use it as a day by day system for success, or you can use it as like a dip in, dip out oracle resource. So ask the universe to guide you and turn to any page to receive a message of wisdom. This flexible approach allows you to access guidance and inspiration whenever you need it without the pressure of daily commitment. Whether you're seeking comfort in a moment of grief, direction in a time of transition, or simply a reminder of your own strengths, you can find the support you need right here. So see, it's got beautiful like little illustrations in there. Um, a fun fact, and I don't know whether you can see, maybe, oh, actually, I can't lift it up because you'll be able to see it. But in the middle of my vision board back there is actually a postcard that has very similar colorings to this. And I put that on my vision board before the concept was even created. So just remember, everything unfolds in the unseen realm first. Everything. So, the more you can cultivate a really powerful connection to the universe, to yourself, as a portal for possibility, the more you will see magic manifest in your life. Because life is not a dress rehearsal. We need to stop pretending that it's not the most important thing that we can do to seek joy every day, to connect with friends, to cherish our loved ones, to dive headfirst with our hearts open, to say yes to all that life has to offer. I'm hearing my daughter singing in the background right now. It's very cute. Anyway, I don't know how long I've been speaking for right now, but I am going to leave you with that today. And if you would like to get a copy of Dear Universe 365, you can get it anywhere books are sold, Barnes& and Noble, Target, Walmart, Amazon, of course. You can get it internationally. I believe it's at Waterstones in the UK and Kmart in Australia. Um, all of the links are listed on dearuniverse365.com. So thank you so much for being here with me. And one more favor to get the message out here from my heart to yours. If you have purchased a copy of this book and you would be kind enough to leave a review on Amazon or any of the platforms where you buy your books, that would mean the world to me. So thank you so much for being here with me. And I'm sending you so much light and so much love. And I cannot wait for the year that's ahead of us. Lots of love and bye for now.